playing with the Nocturnals was really fun. I think all the members of it had done enough trial and error bands that when we got the lineup of me and Graham and Brett and Gordon, that we had this real powerhouse rhythm section, and they had a singer and a real melodic guitarist who could play more than just standard chords, you know. We definitely had a band that could cut it, and Gordon had so much stamina, like he could drum full on. You know, we'd have to play for like 3 hours, by which I mean say 45 minutes on, quarter of an hour off. And he was capable of doing that. So we had a real strong rhythmic anchor there to go with our melody and singing and the words and stuff, yeah. Making the first tape was fun, the very first tape, the Things That Go Bump in the Night tape, because that was done up at our practice room. The band had only been together about 3 months, I think, when we did that, maybe less. And we did it all live. You had to do it live. So it all went through an 8-channel desk into a cassette player, and if we thought we got a good tape, we'd run downstairs to Gordon's car and listen. That was the Rutherford Mobile. That's where we mixed it, apparently, or recorded it on. And if it sounded good on his car stereo, that was the version we used, you know. Except when we did the Down song, that was like, you're only doing this once, because that was actually an old electronically tested song, Gordon and Brett's old band, and a guy called Dill Billworthy had written the words, but I think it only had kind of a couple of verses or something. They wrote down the lyrics that it did have, and our version dragged on for like about 10 minutes, and the rest of it I just made up as I went along on the spot once I ran out of words. So that was like our Sister Ray moment of, you know, you play it once and whatever goes down, that's the version we're using. Or we're not using it, but we're only doing it once. But it came out really well. Later on, the second tape we did out at our farm, not as fond of the second tape. I mean, the songs are fine, but we had some stupid echo unit that I got, so sometimes the vocals sound a bit naff. So I'm singing through this wah wah thing, you know. And also I don't think we were quite as fussy about which takes we accepted. You know, we were in a bit of a hurry because we needed a tape to send up to Auckland for kind of demonstration purposes. So I think we rushed that one a bit. And then the band did its 3 studio records, which for me, if I was an artist, those 3 Nocturnals records, I guess, are the ones where I prove I can do a portrait of somebody that it looks like somebody, you know, like where I can do a real drawing, Picasso's Blue Period or something, you know, like, okay, here's the proper records by the rehearsed band in the studio, best studio we can get, doing it all exactly the way you meant to do it, and, you know, big good production and blah 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 blah, you know. And it didn't get played anyway. It didn't make any difference. Like, by the time we made the third one, it started to feel a little bit artificial to me, to where I was hearing it was all just sort of some other land, the land of studio. Here it all is big and glorious again, folks, you know, and it's kind of like, I didn't really want it to be like that, you know, like, and it cost a lot, and it wasn't really very satisfying. Today, looking back on it now, I mean, in all honesty, I prefer the first tape. I really do. Those 4 songs that came out on vinyl on that Worldview record, I think they sound great. Nervines and Powerlines and Worldview and stuff. They're just more honest, and that's not saying I'm not pleased to have done the Nocturnal studio stuff, because I am. It's, like I say, there's the product that proves I can do a real drawing, you know. But in a lot of ways, for me, it starts with the first This Kind of Punishment record, which was rough as guts and really, really, really primitive, and all sorts of things wrong with it, I suppose. But they were all things that I already knew were wrong with it before it got sent off. It didn't change when it came back. It stayed the same, and it's just more honest. Plus, by that point, I just really didn't give a toss about radio play or whether people could dance to it, or having to sing everything in this key all the time because if I didn't sing that loud you couldn't hear me, because everyone was playing all the time, no one would ever shut up. And it just reached a point where I think Brett had gotten sick of being in Auckland anyway. He decided he was leaving, and Gordon wanted to go off and work on his dad's boat. And we'd written this song called Words Fail Me, which we stretched out to about 8 minutes. And This Kind of Punishment eventually did it as a 5-minute song and left the second chunk out altogether, which I think is better, honestly. But it's like making them longer that was the only different thing we could do at this point, make them longer. We had maybe half a dozen songs that were a bit different. But otherwise, most of the rest of them to me essentially sounded the same in terms of they're all 4/4 timing. Everyone's all playing together all the time. I'm always singing up there as loud as I can. Yeah, and people can dance to it, jump up and down. You just suddenly felt like there was nothing left to write. Now we're writing these 8-minute songs that really should be 5-minute songs. And doing stuff for the sake of it, or wasn't going anywhere. We did our one and only national tour, and I remember being down in Wellington and sitting on a table down there, and again, the guy who can't play the guitar, because I can't, but I'm going to try. Did I walk and stuff your mic up, or was it long enough that I didn't stuff it up? And I would probably stuff this song up because I never get it right, even though it's simple as shit. But I sat on a table down in Wellington after the show and I played this to the rest of the band. And I thought that was a good direction for the band to go in, and nobody else did.